Peace. All praise and glory to the mighty Most High, our Creator, who is one God. There is none like Him. None to the left, none to the right, and none that sit on the right hand of authority. Doesn't exist. There's only one supreme, eternal Creator. Welcome, family. Children that serve the Most High. We love Him, don't we? Go ahead and smash that like button if you love the Lord. That's all I can say. You know? It's the first time I think I've ever even said smash the like button in 3 years, man. But go ahead. Smash it down. Okay, we're here in part 2. I was disrupted because I was called to work the other day. And by the time I got home, I was too exhausted. Folks, summer is here. You step outside that door, man, and it's like you sucked into a prune immediately. You can just feel it suck all the moisture out of you. So I don't do the sun so well as I used to when I was younger. So there's that. And that's pretty much, I worked all last week on a wall. And yeah, I fried my ass off. So it's just now, you know, yesterday I wanted to do some videos, but I was still just exhausted and drained from all the work. So I took an extra day off. So we're here at part 2 of all the things that are wrong with Exodus chapter 34. My theology may not be correct in all aspects. I don't know everything about the Bible. It's a learning process. Okay, anyone who tells you they know everything about the Bible is the devil themselves. No one can know everything that's going on because so much has been tampered with. So many pieces have been taken out. Other pieces have been taken in. I believe that the book of Revelations and Enoch precede Genesis. And the book of Genesis is the beginning because it was written by Gentile, which are Gentiled in flesh. Understanding the creation story and that there's not just one human race will help you understand the Bible a lot more. See, Satan has pulled the wool over all of our eyes and made us believe that we're all one human race, when in fact there was a serpent race that was created before the human race. Now when I say serpent race, I don't mean a reptile race that's standing upright. I don't mean shapeshifters like a lot of people will tell you that they're shapeshifters or any of that. When I say reptiles or serpents, I'm talking about a jinn tiled in a flesh suit. I could be a jinn, both good and evil. Jinn are both good and evil. Jinn have the potential to be both good and evil. But they're more than likely going to engage in sinful acts. I watched the show today, and the bottom line is that the children of Israel are being punished because of their lack of responsibility and their end to serve one Creator alone, the self-existing eternal Spirit of truth, the living God. I do not put a name to the Creator. Okay? If the Creator has wiped our memory, has erased it when we're born into this plane of existence, and I absolutely know that when you're born into this plane of existence, you are wiped. It's kind of like that movie Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's having a total recall. We have recalls at certain times. Our DNA is set up for an awakening for different people at different times. The Bible tells us that 2/3 of God's children are going to burn for lack of knowledge, is what it says. Give me 1 second. Couldn't find it. Anyways, I know that it does say that. I was looking for somewhere, a channel I listen to slapping you in the face with the truth, asked me a question. He says, where in the book of remembrance does it say that there is a lake of fire or brimstone? And that one just really kind of caught me off guard, because I couldn't really think of any time in the Old Testament that it says anything about the lake of fire However, we know that the books have been tampered with. And I argue that Revelations came before Genesis because Genesis was written by the Gentile after God's children cast their holiness, cast their pearls before swine. What are they talking about when they're casting their pearls before swine? They're talking about moving into the nations, through their pagan ways, their heathen ways, their abominating holidays, their Christmas. Think about this. Okay, think hard about this. An entire nation of people all lying to your children about Santa Claus, and the whole nation's in on it. From a child that just learns about Santa Claus, all of them are teaching you about a fat, jolly man coming down a frickin' chimney through the fire, and the anagram for Santa is Satan. And you have the entire nation, all of you, teaching your children about a fat man coming down the fire. What's even worse is once the child, you rip that, what a child has, that belief that the child has in something that it can't see, when you tear it from it, it makes it that much harder for that child now to believe in anything that it can't see, because it really did. Now, if we instilled in our children that same understanding of the Creator, the Spirit of Truth, the living God, and we brought that to our children's plate rather than this fat fucking man called Santa Claus on fucking December 21st or 25th, you guys are wacky doodles. Okay? The whole nation. Anybody participating in it. Sorry. There's only a few. That means that probably 330 million Americans will hate me for saying it. But you gotta face it. It's the truth. You're all liars. You're lying to your kids about something that doesn't exist, what makes it harder for your child to believe in something that does exist when they can't see it. You've got to understand that it's what you can't see. It's the gears behind this plane of existence that run this physical material world that make us believe that we're in these flesh suits when everything that's around is straight up an image. All right, so let's begin. Like I said, this is part 2. 6 days you shall labor, because this is what the Creator said that you will do. You will bust your ass, man. But the 7th day ye shall rest. Even during the plowing season and harvest, you must rest. So I honestly wonder, and this ain't me. I mean, I go by what Rap the News, what I learned on Rap the News' channel. Rap the News' channel said that the Sabbath day is from Friday sunset to Saturday sunset. And I observe the Sabbath. Well, the truth is I try to make every day like a holy day to the Creator. I mean, I'm not sacrificing any animals or anything, but I am straight with the Creator on my mind, loving, worshiping, telling Him how I love Him and how I beg for salvation. I'm humble to the Creator. My ego is no more. Celebrate the festival of weeks with the first fruits of the wheat harvest, and the festival of the turn in gathering at the turn of the year. 3 times a year all your men are to appear before the sovereign Lord. How can anybody appear before a Lord when God says He is not flesh? Okay, give me 1 second here. Okay, here we're reading from the book of Luke 24. But they were terrified and afraid, and supposed that he had seen a spirit. So supposed that they'd seen a spirit. Not that they had seen a spirit, but supposed that they had seen a spirit. But it wasn't. And he said unto them, Why are ye troubled, Jesus? And why do your thoughts arise in your hearts? Behold my hands and my feet, that it is I myself. Handle me, and see, for a spirit hath not flesh and bones. A spirit hath not got flesh and bones, as you see me have here. So Jesus is telling you he's not a spirit before them right now. But it's even more interesting if he's not, and he's talking and he's chatting with them and he's having a good old time with them. Hey, yes, I'm back. Yeah, I'm back in the saddle again. That's what he's saying, right? But if he's flesh and he was crucified and he had spikes ran through his hands and spikes ran through his feet, then his bones would have been crushed. And then the whole story starts to kind of snowball out of line, because this is also the same chapter, well, back in John 20:17, where he says to him, to Mary, do not cling to me, for I have not yet ascended. But go and tell my brothers I am ascending to their God, to their Father, my God, and your God. So Jesus is now telling Mary that he has a God. And when Jesus was on the cross and he said, why is thee forsaken me? Jesus forsaken himself. And Jesus died on the cross and he gave up the spirit. That means it would be spiritual suicide to give up your spirit. How can something that's eternal, the creator, the self-existing eternal spirit, the creator of all things, give up his spirit? How could he do that? That would be spiritual suicide. 3 times a year you are to appear. I don't know how we're going to appear before the sovereign Lord when we just read back that no one can see the Lord's face. Last chapter, 33:20. No man can see my face and live. So who now can appear before the sovereign Lord? Questioning who now we can see appear before the sovereign Lord. The God of Israel. Israel. I will drive out nations before you and enlarge your territory, and no one shall covet your land when you go up there 3 times each year to appear before the Lord. Okay, well, if all this battle and everything had already taken place and the Creator, the Lord, had led them out of Egypt and brought them out into the land, then why brought them before the land, the territory, and said that no one shall covet your land, then why doesn't the Israel, I personally myself, I'm under the impression that the land is still being coveted, but not by Israel, not by Israel, the children of God, the supreme self-existing, the Israelite, not coveted because those in the providence of Israel are not the true Israelites. They are imposters. As I started this lesson, there is an imposter. A race of people has hijacked one race of people's rights, their inheritance. Okay? A Gentile race was created long before the Hebrew race. If you are going to create something, create a soul, what do you have to do? You have to create the evil, you have to create the good. That's what God did. He created mankind that consider themselves gods. If God is only one God, then there can't be any other gods. If God is only one God, then there can't exist a Satan per se. So then who is Satan? What is Satan? Does Satan exist? No. Not as we've been taught. Satan is mankind created on the 6th day. Revelations 13:18. Here's a call for wisdom. Let the one with insight calculate the number of the beast. For it's the number of a man, and his number 666 ties into Genesis 1:26-27. God said, let us make mankind in our image and our likeness. Okay, this one that's created on the 6th day in an image and likeness is the one that they painted the likeness of their image in Maccabees 3:48. It all ties together. I will drive out the nations before you and enlarge your territory, and no one shall covet your land when you go up 3 times a year, each year, to appear before the Lord your God. Okay? God here, folks, is Elohim. Okay? Good Elohim. And these are angels. Higher archangels, Elohim, good Elohim, used. This is what you got to understand, that the Creator uses us, the host system, to correct somebody. Okay? It's how it works. He's watching you. The Spirit of Truth, the living designer, the authority, the Almighty, the Supreme, the eternal, self-existing, living God, Spirit of Truth, is watching you. Everything you do. It's so mind-blowing. The concept of this plane of existence, what He created it for. Okay? You either asked for this experience, this incarnation, and you came here with the memory wipe, taking a chance that you'd be able to return back to the Creator, or you are sent here as punishment for falling away from God on the lie. That's right. Do not offer the blood of sacrifices to me along with anything containing yeast, and do not let any of the sacrifice from the Passover festival remaining until morning. Bringing the best fruits of your soil to the house of the Lord your God. Do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. That sounds pretty disgusting to me. Then the Lord said to Moses, I've got to ask now, after everything that I've just said to you, who is this Lord? Is it a spiritual Lord or is it a fleshly Lord? Now, in the Bible, this Lord here is considered Yahweh, also considered Jehovah. Okay? The Lord said to Moses, write down these words, for in accordance with these words I have made a covenant with you and with Israel. Moses was there with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights, without drinking bread or drinking water. 40 days and 40 nights. That's pretty incredible. I know that the Creator, the Lord, the self-existing eternal one, could sustain anybody that He wants in any fashion that He wants, without any water, without any bread, without any food. He could, but did He? 40 days and 40 nights is an extremely long time for the flesh. For the flesh to go without. Okay? Now the Spirit. So could this be a split parable that we're reading here? Because now Moses went without food or water for 40 days and 40 nights. A body, a human body, the flesh body itself cannot go with no 40 days without food and water, folks. Okay, it can't do it. A spiritual body could absolutely do it. So, in the previous chapter 33 of Exodus, where I showed you that Moses is sitting with God face to face as one sits with a friend, and then lower down in the chapter it says that no one can see God's face and live, then we also have two stories. So now we've seen, I've proven to you that we have these two Adams. We have two creation stories now. You're seeing two creation stories developing, and clearly now we can see that we have two Moseses. Not that there were two Moseses. You got to understand that something has been grafted into the Bible. The Gentile have grafted themselves into the Bible. This is what you got to understand. Then the Lord said to Moses, write down these words, for in accordance with the covenant with Israel. Moses was there with the Lord 40 days without drinking, and he wrote on the tablets the words of the covenant, the 10 Commandments. So now, he wrote. Remember up here earlier, in part 1 that I did, it said, the Lord said that I will write these words. Now, Moses is writing on the tablets the words of the covenant law, the 10 Commandments. Okay? And then he comes back down from the mountain with the radiant face. When Moses comes down from Mount Sinai with the 2 tablets of the covenant law in his hand, he was not aware that his face was radiant because he had spoken with the Lord. He'd spoken with the Lord. So now we have Moses who's speaking with the Lord. The Lord says no one can see his face and live. How's he speaking with the Lord? When Aaron and all the Israelites saw Moses, his face was radiant, and they were afraid to come near him. Why would Aaron? Well, I imagine Aaron here would be afraid to come near him because he had just got done. I mean, Moses is coming back down. Could you imagine your brother who's been the spokesperson for you all this time for the Israelites? The Israelites say, come make us a god. And all Aaron can do in any kind of resistance at all is just simply say, bring me your gold. Bring it all to me. I'll make you a bull. I'll make you a calf. I'll make you a god of gold. Right? So I could understand why Aaron, his brother, would be a little bit in fear with his face being all radiant and everything. But Moses called to them. So Aaron and all the community. Why do I like to hit this word? Because they've shoved community down your face and changed it into, look at the word how I'm spelling it. Community, communism. See, the free world wants to destroy communism. The free world wants to destroy community because that's what communism is. It's community. The community works together. If they have a problem within the community takes care of it. You come inside of a community and you rape somebody inside of their home, the community takes care of it. They beat the shit out of you within an inch of your life, or they stone you to death. The community takes care of it. But you see, they have injected themselves, the white man and their laws have injected themselves to plainly keep you guys from getting rid of any of these evil parasites. No, what they want to do is they want to house them in jail for a while, cause more destruction to them, and then release them back onto the society again. This is why the Old Testament told us plainly, man, destroy the frickin' evil. But then again, I don't understand how we can destroy evil if the Spirit is giving you a commandment not to kill. How can we destroy the evil if the commandment is not to kill? Well, then I guess what you have to do is call on the Creator and keep that evil away from you and your family. Ask for the Spirit of truth, the living God, for His shield to protect you and your family. And then these things won't occur to your family. If your child got raped, I'm sorry to say that your child was probably doing something that she shouldn't have been doing in the first place. This world's got it all ass backwards and just wants to pretend that a woman acting promiscuous and showing her rear end and her tits and pushing it all out, dressing seductive and putting it out there on the streets, that's what it's for, man. You do that kind of behavior, then you're going to get yourself in trouble. You're supposed to cover yourself, man. You're not supposed to let anybody see that skin other than the man that you're going to marry and be with the rest of your life. He's the only one. If you are a virgin child and you happen to stumble across this, okay, there's nothing more precious on the face of this earth than your virginity. It is priceless. There's no price for it, okay? I tell women all the time, man, gird that up and protect it. And don't let anybody have what is yours until you're ready to give it to that one special person. So now we got to ask who? Did he Moses? Or was it the Lord? And he wrote on the tablets because the Lord said that he would write in the previous part 1 on the words of the covenant, the 10 Commandments. Okay. But Moses called them so Aaron and all the community would come back to him. And he spoke to them. Afterwards, all the Israelites came near him, and he gave them all the commandments the Lord had given him on Mount Sinai. When Moses finished speaking to them, he put a veil over his face, but whenever he entered the Lord's presence to speak with him, he removed the veil until he came out. And when he came out and told the Israelites what had been commanded, they saw that his face was radiant. Then Moses would put the veil back over his face until he went to speak to the Lord. Okay? So, anyways, I want to be really clear. I don't know everything about the Bible, folks. I'm just starting to put pieces together. I'm starting to realize that pieces have been cut from the Bible. Okay, the 5 books of Moses, the book of remembrance, and they've been changed and they've been taken out and extracted from this book and then used in the New Testament writings and stuff, in Revelations particularly, in the book of Enoch. These books that have been removed from the Bible was originally 74 texts. Now it's 66. Imagine that, 66 books. So 66 books, electrons, protons, neutrons are 666. The atomic number for man, carbon, is 6. Carbon is a copy. We are carbon copies of an image. Okay, biblical definition for image is to shade a phantom. Definition for a phantom is a ghost. The definition for a ghost is the spirit of the dead. And Jesus Christ died on the cross and he gave up the ghost. Jesus Christ died on the cross and he gave up his spirit. If you give up your spirit, then you have committed spiritual suicide. That means that Jesus went to hell with the sins of the world on his shoulders. Supposedly, he just went to hell. He didn't take any sins of the world with him, because sin is rampant in this plane of existence. It's always been here. It was never taken anywhere. It's always been here. Jesus said that he'd die for our sins so that we could live eternally. Then why do we still die? Because it was all a horseshit show, folks. He lied. He lied big. He told that man on the cross he'd be with him that day in paradise. How could that man be with Jesus that day in paradise when Jesus died and went to hell for 3 days? That means that Jesus lied with him and dragged his ass to hell. Or what? Did he leave the man on the cross, leave him spiritually crucified for 3 days on the cross? Or did he go to his gravesite? Where did that man go? Where did that soul go? The one that didn't repent in Jesus Christ's name was probably the one that found salvation. He probably looked at Jesus Christ and said, on the cross, and said, "You're a freaking madman, man. I wouldn't worship any man at all." He had it right. When Jesus cried out and said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do," he's talking about you being at the bottom of the cross saying, "Save yourselves! You saved so many others. Why won't you save yourself?" No, man. He was saying you guys are nitwits. Jesus himself said that many shall come in his name and deceive many. Who's he talking about? Christians. Christians are the many that come in Christ's name and deceive many. Why are the Christians the ones that are many that come? Because most of you don't even read the Bible, and you got your religion from a television set, from all these different stories that they wrote about Jesus Christ. If there was one story about Jesus Christ and that was it, then that's what it should be. But the very fact that Hollywood changes the script over and over and over and over tells you that what they're writing is bullshit. You got to wake up from the illusion that you're under. A spell has been cast over your eyes from that man that's created in an image. The word image has mage in it, and a mage is one that is a practitioner in sorcery and magic. And the Spirit, the Creator, the self-existing eternal one, says that you're not to perform in these actions or to do sorcery. 21:8 tells us, "But the cowardly, the unbelieving, and the abominable, the sexually immoral, the murderers, and all liars, their part shall be the lake which burns with fire and brimstone." That was one of the comments that I left in slapping you in the face with the Truth channel. And I've been looking for a priest that, was comparable somehow to rap, and he's as close as, honestly, he's as close as anyone. Of course, Rap never really talked about Yahweh in all of his lessons. In fact, Rap didn't like to use the Lord. He liked to use the Most High. He liked to use the Almighty Creator. And I personally, myself, I don't like to use Yahweh. I don't like to use Yah. I don't like to use Yahweh. These are three different names from three different camps of three different Hebrew Israelites. If they're a nation of people that worship one God, then there should be one name under God. So that causes, for me, confusion. So to remove the confusion, I repent to the supreme, self-existing, eternal Spirit of truth, the living God. There is none like him. Do I know everything about this? No, I'm very humble about it. My message is what's most important. What is the message that I'm bringing to you as a listener? The message that this channel brings is one. Okay? There's only one Spirit, the supreme, self-existing, eternal Creator, and he's the one that created Elohim. Elohim are many gods. They're plural of Eloah, gods in the ordinary sense, but specifically used. Elohims are used. Okay, Elohims would be Michael and San Raphael and San Rigiel and all these other angels. These are Elohim, as it said. And then some bad Elohim, decided that they liked the daughters of men and that they looked good, and they started fornicating. And then you had a Nephilim breeded race, a vampire race. A vampire race was created between those that were created on the sixth day, the walking dead, and those that were created molded from the dust of the earth. Two different creations. When these came in and laid down with these, you had a new hybrid human that was created, and this is what we've been breeding on this plane of existence ever since. They were there in the days of Noah and thereafter. It's time to wake up, folks. Your salvation is hanging on a string. Christians, you are all on your way to the hellfire. There's only one supreme creator. I suggest you start reading the Bible yourself. Find these errors. You're not going to find the errors unless you dig in. The reason why people don't read the Bible, because it's a mess. It's horrifying to put together. It takes time. It takes dedication. It takes prayer to the Most High. It takes devotion to the Most High. It takes asking Him for discernment and begging Him to put his Spirit on you so that you can discern the truth, so that He can help you understand what's being said in the Bible. All praise and glory to the mighty Most High. There is none like Him. Blessings to all those children that serve the Most High. If you are an Israelite child of God in light and serving one God and one God alone, you are my brother. Blessings be on you. If you are a Hebrew Israelite and you've turned your back on God, you have went for the riches and the wealth and destroyed your own people, hell is coming for you, and a terrible hell it will be. This is White Raptor News Ministry.